what is one piece of advice you could give to an up-and-coming artist, entrepreneur? I know you got a lot, but let's try.
No, I know. Let's try to get one.
Let's try to keep it one.
Welcome. Come on in. So we're at the studio here in Los Angeles, California. It's like 1,400 square feet. We got this cutting table here, which is super important to a lot of activities over here. Actually have a spray booth over here to the right. It's good to keep the smell and all the dust contained into one space. So these are some pieces I'm working on right now. You see this is our sanding tent. So again, just to keep all the dust kind of concentrated. Right now for the show, we're working on all the frames. We're doing everything in-house. Decisive. That's something to mention. Like a good piece of advice is like decisiveness for sure. That's something I'm trying to work on, is like, instead of responding to someone saying maybe, or being like, oh, like.
All right, we're good to roll? Cool, we're live. Stars align. Lefty, what's up, man?
What's up, G?
It's so good to see you, bro.
You too.
Thank you for being here.
Welcome to the West Coast, yeah.
Thanks. West Side. Here we are, beautiful Los Angeles, California. This is still like LA.
Yeah.
Defined as LA.
For
right?
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Downtown.
Downtown, baby. I just want to say thank you for hosting us in your beautiful space. We got to take a little tour. That was fun, very inspiring. So appreciate you.
For sure.
Let's roll into some questions.
Cool.
First one off the top. Who are you? Who is Lefty?
Who am I? I go by Lefty Out There. That is what I consider my name. That's something people often ask me. They go, no, but what's your name? And I go, my name is Lefty. That is who I am. That's who I identify as. Not for any odd reason, but like that's truly who I feel that I am. I was given the name Franco Campanella. That's my real name, but I just feel like a different person, you know? So I feel like Lefty Out There is who I am. I view as Lefty as my first name, Out There as my last name. I would love to change it to that legally. I think that'd be tight. I think that'd be sick on a passport. Yeah. But yeah, no, I've been creating art for over 10 years under this entity, practicing art for 12, like visual art, and I've been doing music my whole life. So I've started art in a very young age. I took it very seriously growing up, and that kind of taught me, and being around serious environments in the music world and all that stuff really taught me like what it took to be a professional artist, what it took to be like a full-time artist that like actually successful. So I think that really helped in my daily grind and like learning how hard it is and how much work you really have to put in and how much sacrifice it takes, and dedication and all that stuff. And that's kind of, you know, slowly throughout the years. I obviously started in Chicago. My origins are in street art and graffiti properly, not street art actually, because there's a difference. I started with stickers. So that was the thing. I kind of started with the small, you know, kind of like US Postal Service stickers, like that kind of stuff, and like stuff I bought at like Office Max. And then eventually I started sticking the stickers together with other stickers to make them bigger. And then eventually that wasn't good enough for me because I was making like 5-foot stickers and everything hand drawn. Every single one I did was hand drawn, and that was kind of like my formative teaching and practicing and learning who I was as an artist, because I'm not formally trained visually. I've taken one art class in college. Everything I learned is self-taught or learned from working with someone else. And in that process, I kind of stopped doing the stickers and started doing wheat pasting, because then it was getting larger and larger to the scale of like 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet postering. And then eventually, you know, that kind of led me to doing shows, and, you know, 10 years later, here we are. And you know how much has actually gone on in the middle of all that. There's been an immense amount of collaborative work and projects and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we'll get into all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
First off, respect.
Thank you.
Respectfully.
Thank you.
Props.
Yeah, you know, you've been around since the beginning, so you know how hard I've worked and you know how times have changed. So.
Yeah, man. One of the reasons why we're super appreciative of being here today. Big ups.
Thank you.
Huge ups.
Welcome. Come on in. So we're at the studio here in Los Angeles, California. It's like 1,400 square feet. We got this cutting table here, which is super important. Do a lot of activities over here. I actually have a spray booth over here to the right, which is really helpful because I do a lot of spray paint art and stuff. And it's good to keep the smell and all the dust contained into one space. So these are some pieces I'm working on right now. And this is my baby right here, this fan. I do a little filter fan system, and this basically kicks 200 cubic square feet per minute out. So basically, a couple minutes after you spray paint, you can't smell it at all. And it's really nice because it keeps the workspace, kind of safe and also smell free. Also nice for the neighbors. You see this is our sanding tent. So again, just to keep all the dust kind of concentrated. Right now for the show, we're working on all the frames. We're doing everything in-house. So we're basically sanding down all the frame molding, painting it all. There's a lot of also built pieces. I was mentioning earlier, there's a bunch of shaped canvases, and everything is like on wood panel boxes. So as opposed to it just being like canvas around stretchers, they're like shapes and trapezoids, circles, pieces that interlock and overpass each other. So all that stuff's all done on wood, and we're all doing that here. So we keep all that dust contained. This is the main painting wall. So this is where kind of the touch-up phase goes down. So once we kind of paint something in the spray booth or on one of the tables, we bring it out here and we do all the fine-tuning work. These are our go-to brushes, as you can see, they're almost non-existent. But that's because we basically go through on every single piece and refine every single edge, make sure there's no pixel of paint out of place. That's kind of the detail and beauty we like to find in the work. This is a new piece. There's also a color version of this. So this has the the gradient grayscale. There's also a mimicking piece like this, which is rainbow colored. Love this design. This is kind of an ode to a design I did in 2016, which was a crowd favorite, or been still one of the most pivotal pieces that I've made to this day, which was the polymorphs on one side with the straight line stretching. So now this is kind of version 2. I love this design. I see a lot of potential with this, stuff for maybe even records or things like that. I think this design is going to be great, and you're going to see it a lot in my work. This is a cool piece right here. My boy Lalo is working on. We're working on the frame. This is fun because it's 8 different panels with the beveled edges as well, and we obviously did all that here. I painted them with a gradient, and what you're going to notice is when it's standing up and the light source is on it, the gradient trim on the sides is going to give it kind of an optical effect. So it's going to be kind of messing with your eye, because typically, you'd see the shadow would be the darkest at the dark point, but this is kind of going to throw you off a little bit. And beyond that, we're also going to be doing that same gradient treatment on the inside of the frame molding as well. Love that. It's a heavy piece. This is entirely made out of wood, so this piece is probably upwards of 50 pounds. It's 3 by 8 feet. This is a new one here we're working on. We're in the final phases of the touch-ups. So you can kind of see what I was mentioning, all those little moments here and there, all that stuff's going to be eliminated. This is an experimental piece, split screen is what we call it. It's light colors on this side with the mimicking dark colors on that side. So this painting has 27 colors in it, or actually 22 colors in this one. And then the inverse, we did the light background, dark background on that side. This one's going to be 5 by 5 feet. We have some pieces up there. They're out of order, but that's a similar design to what we're working with here. And then those 2 white and black ones actually go together. And these are all in the process of getting framed. So in the next couple of days, all these pieces will be have the frame molding and painted. And the fun thing that we're going to do for the one in the middle is we're going to invert the frame. So it's going to be black where the white part is and white where the black part is. So it's going to be nice design element. And then these are a couple what we call RGB style. So it's layers on layers. These are fun to look at with 3D glasses and stuff, because the patterns really pop out. And there's 3 layers of lines on each of these, so the painting time on these is immense, because it's basically painting it 3 whole times. These are the frames for those pieces as well, so we're in the process right now of painting these. Even the paintings that don't make it, they become tables. So you can tell. That's how we work on it. So this is the gist of the space here that we're working in. And for the show, we're gonna have 30 pieces. So that's where we're at with that.
Next question. Where does some of your inspiration come from for creating your artwork?
I feel like I'm inspired by experimentation in the sense that like I'm constantly trying to innovate my creative path and how I'm making the pieces and how I'm making the pattern. You know, so I'm constantly jumping genres and jumping mediums just because like I said, I want to see how this works. I want to see how a screen printer works. I want to take it to the max. I want to work with laser cutting and CNC and take that to the max. I want to experiment with different materials and really see like the beauty of like plexiglass or the beauty of resin or the beauty of paint, you know what I mean? Like really like seeing how I can push it. And also like since I am self-taught, like that initial naiveness helps because I don't know, when I jump into something, I might be new at it and I don't have these like preconceived notions of like, well, you have to do things this way. I like grab a paintbrush and hold it like sideways, you know, or do like weird shit that ends up working out and making it more unique because I'm approaching it from just like a primitive way. Like I'm not like following any rules or any presets that somebody told me I have to do. And I think that that's crucial in creativity. But yeah, so really just, you know, experimenting and innovating, and I want to keep doing that. You know, there's still mediums I haven't tried. I'm starting to dabble into sculpture. You know, I'm starting to dabble into bigger installation stuff like that. I'm also like continually in the brand sector. Obviously, I've done like an immense amount of like brand collaborations and like product design, and that's fun because that really helps me dive into something else I haven't done. I think it's important to trust other people and trust like their knowledge. Like, so for instance, like painting a car, let's like say I'm collaborating with like a car brand and a car company. Like obviously I've never formally painted a car like properly with that paint, but like being able to work side by side with someone who has done that and has that ability and embracing their knowledge and stuff and bringing my expertise and my visual expertise into their world. That's how you do like a successful collaboration, and I'm gonna keep doing that. You're gonna see lots of stuff like that popping up in the future with, you know, plenty of different kinds of products as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of the work you've done on cars. Also the like famous gallery, or it's a car dealership down in Wynwood, right?
Yes, Walt Grace Vintage. Yeah,
it's iconic.
Almost 300. It's like 275 feet long by like 20 feet tall, mural-wise. The biggest mural I've done, I recently did one in Chicago, I believe. I forget what month that was. It's like 6 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's funny because that was like one of the last times I saw you.
Yeah.
We were on the way to.
I did that one too. Well, no, that one, but I'm mentioning the one I did that. So whenever that was, it was a month before that. I did the 70 by 100 foot one on Chicago Avenue, Chicago and Halsted. That was crazy. That was the tallest because I've done a lot of long murals. I've done plenty of like 200 feet long, 175, 150, 125, 300. I've done lots of long buildings, all four sides of one building, you know, stuff like that. But this was the first time I went above 40 feet. Because like radius, that one was like 40 feet tall, but this one was 70. And then I did the water tower on top, which was technically 90 something. And I painted that 90 something thing like barely strapped in to like a guardrail that was alongside the water tower. And the water tower was positioned on the edge of the building, actually over the building. So it wasn't like on the building roof, like one of the edges was a direct 90 something foot drop to the bottom. It was a lot of fun. That was a tight project. It was cool because it was also black and white, which is like I love that aesthetic, you know, like obviously like just the pure, honest, high contrast beauty of like the combination of black and white. And like that company in particular at Properties, they really trusted me with the creative. They gave almost no feedback or no pushback. They're like, yeah, run this, like do what you want. What do you want to do? And I was like, I want to do a massive black and white wall. And then I incorporated their version of love in the middle. Like that's their like one of their slogans. And I was like, run that, you know, like that was cool to do a classic, no pushback. They let me, you know, complete artistic creativity. Even though I will say I do work with a lot of brands and do the collaborations, but that's something I always maintain and put my foot down on, is that I maintain the creative, and mostly every single brand respects that. They obviously want to see what you're doing beforehand, but almost everyone respects me as a creative and lets me do what I want to do, and I'm firm about it. If they say, oh no, we think you should use colors, I go, no, it's black and white.
Yeah.
No, that's
huge.
Yeah, you have to put your foot down and trust your instinct and your intuition, and no matter who's bringing it up, but because you're passionate about it, but also don't just flake and feel like it. Like, you have to deliver. If you make a claim like that to somebody like that, like, you have to make sure you know what you're talking about and you over deliver.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing will go wrong.
What's like the size team you would work with on that mural specifically? Because like you got to have some people, right?
Yeah, that mural was myself and 2 other painters. Well, actually no, myself, 1 other painter, 1 machine operator, and then a video guy.
Gotcha.
So really, I actually did paint probably like most of it, like probably 2/3 of it.
Yeah.
But I got what was really helpful, and the reason why I was able to accomplish so much, because I also did that in 6 days, 16-hour days. But the reason why I were able to do that was because I had someone driving me in the lift. Yeah. Because it is kind of like, I found this difficult. Like I've worked a lot of lifts. I'm boom certified, lift certified, aerial lift certified. I'm actually like a teaching level of certification.
Let's go.
for those machines, but it's helpful to have someone else drive you, because it's too hard to like paint something and then step away and be like, okay, I'm 70 feet up and now I have to move this box with like 20 levers and then turn back around and paint something. Like, my homie was moving me around. I was painting as we're moving, so I was able to like fly through it because I could focus on what I was doing. He was focusing on keeping us safe and moving us around, which that's a crucial part of the team. Even though he didn't paint anything, he practically did, because he was there with me in the basket every day for 16 hours. It was wild. We were like closer than me and you are now for 16 hours a day. Like taking a break, like maybe a 10-minute eating break. Like, we don't, when you're working outside, you have to be in like uncontrolled elements. Like, you have to take advantage. Chicago weather is unpredictable. Was it winter
or was it?
It was I think it was fall. So it was like, it was unpredictable. Maybe it was like spring. It was one of the two, but it was like rain. We were facing a big rainstorm, 3-day rainstorm, and like my schedule was booked to the day. So like, we don't have those days to push back. So we have those 6 days we're finishing by that Friday, because if we don't finish that Friday, we're pushed back 3 days and we're gonna ruin another project that we're working on. And then it, messes up the whole time schedule. So everyone was under the impression like, we're working like as much as we physically can.
Wow.
To get it done.
That's amazing.
Because the outside elements is different,
Yeah.
It's not like controlled working in your home. It's like, you're basically living on the street, you're living at that location. Like, we had like fold out cots. Like, I have these like little cots that we're chilling on, like between, like I'd take a 5-second break and literally lay down, like we're eating out there, we're living like outside, where it's like, that's like not art, that's almost beyond art, that's like construction. I consider that like construction work.
Wow.
That's like labor. It's not just sitting in the studio like listening to music, drinking coffee. It's like construction work with harnesses and helmets, and you're really dirty. Like, it's like like official, contracting.
Straight up.
But I like that. I mean, I want to do bigger. I want to do taller.
Yeah.
My goal is to do a skyscraper.
Let's go.
Yeah. Like, I want to do a fucking banger.
What would be the medium that you would have to paint on? Is there specific?
I'm almost down for it to be built, like to be like, imagine like water jet stainless steel facade on the side of like a skyscraper.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, like over painting it. I'd rather it be like finite material.
Wow.
And like see-through, or squiggles or see-through or something, like shit like that. But I want it to be like big, fucking shit like that. Whole buildings.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.
So this one didn't make it. So this is the one of many casts that didn't make it. That's why I still have it. So this is basically my old studio wall from 2016 from Canvas. So I cut out a 9x9 foot section of my old studio, and I've done that in every studio I've been in since then. And I'm basically like preserving them in this resin cast. So we made the mold here as well. So this one didn't make it, but because you can see on the back, this was several didn't make it. It obviously took a 7 cast to get even the perfect ones that have left the studio since. But it's cool because in the back, what the real ones have is like the title, the signature, a picture of the whole wall in its entirety, and then the front is a piece of the wall. So this is something that's going to be coming out in the spring or summertime whenever I decide to release it, and it's going to be probably like 25, additional 25. So, and I'm going to do that here. Once I leave this place, I'm going to cut as much of the wall as I feel like it, and just keep doing that same thing. I like this piece because it's very historic and not archaeological, but you know what I mean. It's like, it has history to it, and it's like truly a piece of time and, you know, a piece of energy. Like this wall in particular, you know, Lonnie's been there. It's like very much like I painted on this. Like this studio is much bigger. My first studio was like literally like a 1-bedroom studio, almost like in a larger warehouse, and like all the pieces were painted on the same like 8x8 square foot of wall. So there's layers and layers and layers. Like everything was made on that one piece, and it's like that was also a super pivotal time for me because that was like the year I had my first solo show, and you know that was like really my formative years of like when I was really taking it seriously, like 4 years into the career of like, you know, only doing art full time and pursuing it and struggling and doing all that stuff. So this wall to me I feel like has like so much energy. Like that room in general had so much energy, and like that was such a cool time to be in Chicago and to be in that space and stuff. So like having this is like such a vibe, and I feel like that's just like different. Like paintings are amazing, they're beautiful, also they have that same quality, but this is like literally a piece of a building, you know. So they actually knocked that space down. It's not around anymore. So that's why I got this, because before they knocked the building down, they hit me up and they're like, you know, now's the time, because I mentioned I want to cut that wall. So like now's the time, and I pulled up, you know, with some saws and a buddy and literally cut the wall out and took it. So
tight.
But luckily I didn't have to replace that one.
That's what I was just
this
saying.
one I may have to replace, which is fine. Like obviously my squad, we can do that, but I love these, and I think these are gonna have like history, and they're gonna be a nice thing I'll keep doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those for the
Right?
collection.
I know. I wish you saw the finished ones, because this is the shit one. You know?
I'm glad I got to know about it before it came out.
Exactly. No, I mean, no one, only like 2. I've only sold 2 to like very predominant collectors.
Wow.
That's it. Like they were because like they were Christmas gifts from someone else.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 very predominant collectors of mine. That's all who've had like number 1 and 2. But I'm definitely gonna do a release of these after the show, because we're kind of like, this is what we were working on right before the show got confirmed, and then we're like, okay, oh shit, we gotta stop everything we're doing and completely pivot towards other things. But yeah, this is fun because I've never done a resin. You know, this is a full-on sculpture. This is my first sculptural piece that I've ever released. I've, you know, done resin on paintings, like the typical thing, but this was a full deep dive into mold making, casting, and resin casting and that process. And that's why, you know, we went through several trial and error fails, you know, and obviously also that took weeks. You know, we spent like 3 weeks, 4 weeks just to get like one successful one. And that's every day, 2 people working 5 days a week. It took us that long just to like learn everything from scratch, buy everything, get the materials. Also the dry times on stuff like this is crazy. You know, like everything needs a day to dry. So you get one step, and then you do all that time, and you know, thousands of dollars later also, because material costs and the machines and everything I've been buying, like, and then it doesn't work, you know. You waste like 3 days on something, and then you mess up the last part of the step, and then you're like, okay, well, that was all for nothing. But that's the beauty of it. That's why they're cool and unique. And the style of it was decrepit, obviously. Like I wanted to do like a faux stone look, to give it like a very preserved, fossilized look to it. So that's the story behind these things.
Wow.
So yeah, you'll definitely be seeing more of these. So you can see that this was version 1, which was a little bit different, bigger. But I decided to go smaller with it, but I tried to, you know. So we did multiple casts in this size, didn't like it, and then got to this one, which was a lot better.
Used up all the wall that you cut?
No, I have like I said, there's gonna be like hopefully 20 successful ones.
Nice.
Out of 30, you know, so not too bad.
Let's roll into the next one.
Yeah.
We'll piggyback off of that. I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about your journey currently coming up in the art world, but then also on becoming the brand you are today and your team as Lefty OUTThere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's important to mention the word team, you know, because you really can't do everything yourself. Um, that's something that I try to tell people, and I often see people's like ego getting in the way because they want to do everything, but you have to realize that, you know, there's other people that specialize in things that are better than you. Yes, I can do everything. I can sand, I can do, you know, I can build, I can paint, I can do X, Y, and Z. But like, truth is like I'm not the best at everything, and I notice a lot of people think that they are, and that's something that everyone's you gotta knock that out. Get your ego out of it. You have to have an ego death and realize that it's amazing to work with other people that specialize in things, because then you can piggyback off of each other and actually make your ideas and your dreams come to life. So that's important. I enjoy working with the team as well. Like it's fun. Like it's cool having people around and people involved in the creative process, and a backbone and a support. You know, most of the people I work with, I've been working with for upwards of 6 years. Like we know each other and we trust each other, and you know that's, you know, like my management. I've been with my management for I think going on 7 years.
Wow.
You know, so that's crazy to be working with somebody, you know, every day that, like, I know I can trust those people. I know that they answer anytime I call. I call them at midnight. They're like, "What's up? What do you need?" You know, like that's the kind of support and the kind of trust you need for a team. And it's also fun to like know that I'm like supporting a bigger community, because those people, some of the artists that help me paint and help me build and stuff, they're artists themselves too. And I'm giving them like a support system and a steady income so that they can also immense knowledge of being an artist and being a creative, and they can now do that themselves. And you know, like a lot of people that have worked for me in the past have gone on to do like sick shit and like gotten, you know, crazy jobs because I've like introduced them to someone, you know, like you know, I don't want to be specific, but yeah, there's like a lot of instances where like that shit happens, and that's what you do. Like if you give me your all, and if you work for me and honestly like put your head down and work, like I'll make sure that that's reciprocated, and I'll make sure that the benefits are shown. That's what you do for a family. And these people are my family. You know, they have, most of them have my name tattooed. Like they have my crew, OTG. Like that's a level of commitment that, you know, I expect from a team. And if you show me that, I'll make it in return. So that's been a big thing about getting to where I am, and I want that family and that team to get even bigger. Like, you know, who's to say, like, you know, artists, like I'm not saying I want to, you know, Jeff Koons has like 200 employees, but like I'm not saying I want that, but like, you know, 50, that'd be sick. Like having a fully operative like art studio, production warehouse. It's like working on things and also doing other, you know, because you get to a point where like you participate in mediums, and I'm doing like, I have so much expertise in these things that like I can start outsourcing those things for other people and start making that like a business, framing and printing and vinyling and stuff like that. Like all that stuff is all things that I'm gonna continue to, you know, practice and maintain. And who knows, like I want to like own a equipment rental company. You know what I mean? It's about like expanding and doing stuff like that. That's how you can like grow and become a better artist and make more money and make more shit happen.
Have a greater impact too.
Which is right. That's like how you impact the community. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way to do it. Other things that got me here is definitely drive and determination. You know, like I'm never happy. I always want to get better and get bigger, and you know, there's a lot of sacrifice. Like I try to talk to my team and people about that. Is like, you know, like I'm sacrificing a lot right now for the show, you know, the show that's coming up. Like I'm working 6 days a week, you know, like you end up sacrificing things in your personal life, you know, like the most. Like your family's like, why haven't you called me? Or why haven't I seen you in 2 months? And, you know, your girlfriend might get a little upset. I'm not saying she does, but you know what I mean? Like it's happened in my years of doing this. Like, you know, you notice like those things like take a toll, and it is hard to like maintain both. But like honestly, the art is so important to me that like nothing comes even remotely close to the level of importance that I have for like this vision, this dream I have, this creativity, like that I can truly say I will die for my art and my passion, and I'll do whatever it takes to get that done. I'll sacrifice anything, including my personal health, to like make this art. And like that's what's important, and that's never going to change. Like the day I lose that is the day I stop progressing. And I mean that with wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that, bro.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people need to hear that.
Yeah.
Like coming from other people, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's what it takes. I mean, you know, like you don't think fucking everyone, like you name it, every recording artist, every fucking painter that's made it, like they've all, you know, there's memes about that shit. Like
sure.
they don't see the thousands of things that you've done to get to that level. Like those people sacrificed immense amounts. I'm sure there's crazy stories, you know, and I feel like there's, you know, Michael Jordan, like first one in, last one out, like
Straight up.
banger. Like that resonates with me all the time. I think about that quote all the time. How can you not? It's like that's a
Straight
level.
up.
That's a level of
It
commitment.
takes,
That's a
dude.
level of commitment to
For
even.
sure.
And I'm not even like I've been doing that for 10 years, and I'm not even happy with the position that I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna take another 10 years to get even close to like the level of projects and the things I want to like do.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to understand just by knowing you, like happiness, but compared to gratitude. Because I know you're a super grateful dude, and I know the company that you keep, and it goes back to like what you were saying before about like family. You know, like I think family can really have that unconditional love to understand the sacrifice, that they don't let it get in between the relationship.
Yeah, those are good family. Exactly, they understand. Right. Same with like the people I work with. Like if I get upset or if I start to yell, like they know it's because I care. It's not because it's not because I want to be mean. It's because I'm like, no, like we're, you know, hit it, like get to work, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all out of love. And then we stop working and we're giggly, we're hanging
Yeah.
out, you know, we're fucking goofing off, doing dumb shit,
Yeah.
kicking birds around the sidewalk, literally kicking scooters. Like it's an on and off switch. You have to be able to separate work time from playtime.
Yeah.
That's how it is when you work with friends. You have to be able to try to, you know, flip that switch.
I love that. I love that. My God, let's go.